Working in human resources and addressing complaints and grievances for many years has given me great insight into the workplace and the people who work in it. I am so honored when employees confide in me and seek my advice. I love problem solving. This video comes from one of my real-life HR files. Getting terminated can be a humiliating experience and may cause one to believe that a termination will forever hurt their career. This video details what to do if you are fired.
Alicia is new in the marketing department. She was talented, hardworking, and always had a positive attitude. She worked diligently in her new prestigious position. Her talent and dedication shone brightly, catching the attention of her colleagues and clients alike. However, she had one major obstacle in her path to success: her envious boss, Ms. Thompson. Alicia entered the department with a recommendation from her previous manager, who described her as having great communication skills, analytical abilities, creativity, attention to detail, interpersonal skills, professionalism, teamwork, time management, and critical thinking. In addition to her degree in marketing, Alicia also possessed certifications in digital marketing, and she brings significant experience in product marketing and development. She became a member of a prestigious product marketing community. She also attends industry events. Employees regularly sought Alicia's advice. She was well versed in marketing, and for a newcomer, she knew quite a lot about the company. She was a social butterfly and very well liked. She'd have lunch with her new colleagues, and on payday Friday, they'd go out for drinks at a local pub. She'd attend industry events and invite her new colleagues. Alicia had a diverse set of skills to excel in this dynamic field, where creativity, strategic thinking, communication abilities, and market understanding are key to success. Mrs. Thompson was a seasoned professional who had been with the company for many years. She was known for her sharp wit and keen business sense, but she also had a reputation for being envious of anyone who showed potential to outshine her. Whenever Alicia produced innovative ideas or received praise from clients, Ms. Thompson's smile would falter and a shadow of envy would cross her face. Mrs. Thompson had a keen eye like a hawk when it came to picking the right talent for her team. But her downfall was always when someone sought to be promoted, move to a new team, or leave the company. Mrs. Thompson knew that the employees in the department made her look good. If the team succeeds, Mrs. Thompson gets praise, rewards, bonuses, and perks from the company. But if anyone fails, or should someone who is especially talented leaves her team, Mrs. Thompson believes that this would adversely affect her. Despite the challenges posed by her envious boss, Alicia remained steadfast in her pursuit of excellence. She continued to excel in her work, earning the respect and admiration of her peers. As time passed, the stark contrast between Alicia's humility and Mrs. Thompson's jealousy became more evident to those around them. Through time, Alicia's hard work and dedication paid off. Her campaigns were successful and clients were impressed by her creativity and professionalism. Slowly but surely, she began to gain recognition within the company and the industry. As Alicia's innovative ideas propelled the company to new heights, Mrs. Thompson's jealousy festered. With each accolade and promotion that came Alicia's way, the green-eyed monster within her boss grew stronger. Instead of celebrating Alicia's achievements, Mrs. Thompson's praise turned into passive-aggressive remarks and subtle attempts to undermine her. One day, during a crucial presentation to a major client, Mrs. Thompson tried to undermine Alicia by questioning her ideas in front of everyone. Alicia stood confidently presenting her innovative marketing campaign to the team. Her eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as she explained her well-thought-out strategies and creative concepts. Just as Alicia finished outlining her ideas, a hush fell over the room as her envious boss raised her hand to speak. With a sly smile, Mrs. Thompson began questioning Alicia's approach in front of everyone.
Are you sure this is the best way to reach our target audience? Have you considered the potential risks involved in this strategy?
Alicia felt a wave of unease, but she maintained her composure and responded calmly, addressing each of Mrs. Thompson's concerns with poise and confidence. She provided detailed explanations, backed by research and data, to support her decisions. As Mrs. Thompson continued to press with more pointed questions, trying to undermine Alicia's credibility, the atmosphere in the room grew tense. However, Alicia refused to back down. She stood her ground firmly, defending her ideas with grace and professionalism. But Alicia remained calm and confident, defending her strategies with poise and grace. The client was impressed by Alicia's professionalism and creativity, and they ended up signing a lucrative deal with the firm. Seeing Alicia shine so brightly only fueled Mrs. Thompson's envy further. But instead of letting it bring her down, Alicia used it as motivation to continue pushing herself to new heights. Alicia's talent and hard work spoke for themselves. Demonstrating expertise through past projects, community involvement and her personal initiatives that showcased her skills and readiness for the role. She eventually earned a promotion to a senior position within the company, leaving Mrs. Thompson to grumble in envy from afar. Alicia's promotion drove Mrs. Thompson's envy to new heights, causing Alicia to endure a toxic work environment due to her jealous boss, whose envy poisoned the atmosphere in the marketing department. The signs of this toxic environment were evident through various behaviors exhibited by Mrs. Thompson. Mrs. Thompson constantly scrutinized Alicia's work, asked for unnecessary updates, and second-guessed her decisions, creating a sense of control and undermining Alicia's autonomy. Alicia faced situations where her boss contradicted her decisions or belittled her authority in front of others, indicating a threat posed by Alicia's success to Mrs. Thompson. Despite Alicia's achievements, Mrs. Thompson failed to acknowledge or appreciate them, showing a lack of recognition and support for Alicia's hard work. Toxic bosses like Mrs. Thompson often makes their employees feel insecure by creating an environment of uncertainty and fear, leading to mental exhaustion and burnout among the team members. And she set unrealistic demands on Alicia, expecting extreme workloads, fast turnarounds, and constant availability even during weekends, contributing to increased anxiety and work-life imbalance for Alicia and her colleagues. Mrs. Thompson would say to Alicia that since she's a high achiever and had accomplished so much in a short period of time, she should be able to keep up with her demands. In this toxic work environment, Alicia faced not only the pressure of excelling in her role, but also the emotional toll of navigating through a space tainted by jealousy and negativity. Despite these challenges, Alicia demonstrated resilience and dedication to her work. She didn't want to let Mrs. Thompson get to her. Even when Mrs. Thompson attempted to take credit for Alicia's work through insidious means by misrepresenting Alicia's contributions during meetings and presentations, distorting the truth to make it seem like she was the driving force behind successful initiatives. Mrs. Thompson also plagiarized Alicia's ideas by presenting them as her own to higher-ups and clients, without giving due credit to Alicia. But Alicia wasn't having it. She let Mrs. Thompson know right there on the spot that she's not going to let her take credit for her work. These actions not only erode trust within the team but also create a hostile work environment where genuine talent and hard work are undervalued and exploited for personal gain. In such situations, employees like Alicia often face a challenging dilemma of standing up for themselves while navigating the delicate dynamics of power and authority in the workplace. Alicia was called into a meeting with Mrs. Thompson. Alicia senses the gravity of the situation. Mrs. Thompson, with a cold demeanor, delivers the news that Alicia is being terminated from her position. Alicia's is in shock and disbelief. Ms. Thompson's envy has reached its peak, leading to this drastic decision that shakes Alicia to her core. Mrs. Thompson's words are calculated and devoid of empathy as she cites vague reasons for Alicia's dismissal, masking her true motives behind a facade of professionalism. Alicia's world crumbles before her eyes as she is forced to pack up her belongings and leave the office she once thrived in. The sense of betrayal and injustice weighs heavily on her as she walks out, her future uncertain but her spirit unbroken. This scene serves as a pivotal moment in Alicia's journey, highlighting the harsh reality of workplace toxicity and the consequences of jealousy unchecked. It sets the stage for Alicia to embark on a new chapter where she must navigate challenges and setbacks with resilience and determination. Alicia knocked on my office door and asked to speak with me. I remember her from when she was hired and I was present when she received her awards and accolades for her work. She told me that Mrs. Thompson asked her to come into our office because she wanted to speak with her privately. She said that she fired her. I said, "Did Mrs. Thompson give you a reason for the termination?" She said no. She said that she told her that things were not working out and her termination was effective immediately, she must remove her things and she would pay her for the rest of the week. I advised Alicia that there is a process in termination that must be followed and perhaps she misunderstood Mrs. Thompson. I said I will speak with her and get back with you. I immediately called Mrs. Thompson, who confirmed that she terminated Alicia. I asked her to come to my office. I told her that there is a protocol that everyone must follow with the termination process, and she violated that process. I contacted her manager and asked for a meeting with the three of us. I was made aware of Mrs. Thompson's behavior in the past from other employees who filed complaints against her for the toxic work environment she created, and she was accused of taking credit for other people's work. Mrs. Thompson ended up receiving disciplinary action. Alicia was asked to return to work, but she didn't want to come back. We lost a phenomenal employee. Dealing with an envious boss can be challenging, but there are strategies to navigate this situation effectively. Here are some key tips. 1. Identify signs of jealousy. Look out for signs like insults, taking credit for your work, assigning irrelevant tasks, or sabotaging your assignments. 2. Maintain professionalism. Stay professional and avoid engaging in negative behavior. Focus on your work and demonstrate your competence and professionalism. 3. Communicate openly. If you notice signs of envy from your boss, try to have an open and honest conversation with them. Seek feedback and understand their perspective. 4. Set boundaries. If your boss's behavior is affecting your work or well-being, set boundaries and seek support from HR or a higher-up manager. 5. Take care of yourself. Protect your mental health by engaging in self-care activities, seeking support from loved ones and maintaining a positive self-image. 6. Avoid outshining the boss. Be mindful not to outshine your boss, as it can trigger feelings of insecurity and envy. Instead, focus on being respectful and supportive while showcasing your talents gradually. 7. Be patient and strategic. Develop patience and social skills to navigate the situation with an envious boss. Learn from the experience. Work hard and look for opportunities to make impactful contributions at the right time. Remember that while dealing with a jealous boss can be challenging, focusing on professionalism, communication, self-care, and strategic interactions can help you navigate this situation effectively.
Alicia did all the right things when dealing with a jealous boss. Unfortunately, she was terminated. Many things go through a person's mind when they are terminated from a job. The first thing likely having to do with their finances and their ability to find employment again. It is best to gain employment right away. During your interviews you can always say that it's not okay to contact your employer because you don't want your employer to know that you're seeking new employment, or you can produce an excuse of your own. Most companies refrain from saying anything derogatory about former employees due to the possibility of a lawsuit. However, there is a box that HR checks that determines whether the person is rehirable, and that is something that one is seeking when doing a background check on a candidate. Many companies have an automated service that provides information about their former employees. As far as interviews, when you are asked why you left your last job or why are you seeking new opportunities, you will have to produce something pretty good. You will need to say something along the lines of "There was not enough room for advancement, I'm looking for something closer to home, or I'm just exploring my opportunities." If you're thinking that companies feel more comfortable with a candidate lying to them rather than them telling the truth, you'd be right. The person that is seeking a new hire needs to feel comfortable in making a decision based off of what you say. In Alicia's case, if she told the truth in her interview, which is that she had a jealous boss who created a toxic environment forcing her to leave the company, that would actually look negatively on Alicia. So, Alicia would have to lie and say that she is simply seeking new opportunities to make the interviewer feel comfortable in hiring Alicia. This part of recruiting is something that I never understood. We are essentially asking people to lie to us to gain employment. Companies say that they're looking for a dedicated, honest, dependable worker, but the reality is that they want somebody that is great at selling themselves. And today companies prefer to hire people that are already employed. It feels as if the practice of getting a job is against the candidate because regardless of what truly happens, the candidate is almost always cast in a negative light. We all know that the number one reason for leaving a job usually has to do with management, and even though we all know that to be true during your interview, you have to say that it is something other than management. People have been fired more than once and ended up being successful. Sometimes being fired gives us the opportunity to revisit our goals. Try to get a job as soon as possible after being fired, and if that is not the right position for you, continue to look for employment while you're employed.